Hello, one and all. Welcome to Talking Comics with Julius Freeman. This is episode 4.2, the short version, the continuation of the previous video that I released last week, covering the short stories I did and produced for the Ghetto Dragon. And this is the continuation of that. The reason why I cut the video into two is because typically I want to keep my videos within the half-hour range. Anything over that, I plan on splitting due to the fact that I prefer that my content remain as short as possible. And I did introductions and I gave backstories to why I did this. So if you want to find out why I did these shorts, just check out the 4.1 video that I produced last week, and I'll give you all the information you're looking for. So I'm just gonna go right ahead and get started with this new one. And here is the third chapter, drawn by Will Robson and colors by Julio Falkenhagen. Will Robson was an artist I found online, I think on Digital Webbing, either Digital Webbing or Zowl. I can't remember which of the two sites. Zowl and Digital Webbing, for those of you who don't know, are websites where artists and writers can put their stuff out there and look for people who are looking for work. Artists, inkers, pencilers, whatever. And based on what you like or what you see, you could contact them and get them for work, which is a cool website. I think it's still up. I'm not sure, but that's where I found him at, and I emailed him, and I thought that his pages, not his pages, but his style was cool, and I thought it'd be a good fit for the Little Dragon, and it was in a lot of ways. The problem I had with Will was I didn't quite like his sequential work. His art was fantastic. I'm not taking that away from him. I just wasn't a fan of his sequential style. It was a bit too choppy to my liking. So, Will, if you're watching this is not a diss to you. That was just my preference. Everyone has a comic book preference. Some people hate Dave Gibbons, but there's some people who love Dave Gibbons. There's people who like the style of Frank Quietly, and there's people who like the style of Joe Mad. Everyone has their own taste, and everyone has their preference. My preference is smooth sequential work, like for instance this first page that you're looking at right now on your screen. This is what I'm talking about, smooth sequential sequence. You have Casper here on the left. He's in the same spot in every panel, but he's doing something different in every panel. And here we have the people he's recruiting for the fight against Matt Guerra, aka the Ghetto Dragon. He recruits a boxer. He recruits a guy named Terror, who's a street fighter, and he recruits an MMA fighter named Oso. This first page was great all around. I really liked the way it came out, and this is the kind of stuff I like producing as a writer. So yeah, this first page, Casper recruits these three guys to beat up our hero, and they all agree to it. So we move on to the next page where our hero, let me zoom in here so you guys can check it out. Whoops. So let me zoom in here, and if you look closely, our hero is jogging into a really filthy, poor alleyway. And Terror jumps out behind the dumpster and rushes our hero, swings at him 3 times. This is a cool sequence. I really like the way the sequence came out. Again, great work by Will. And these two here, not so much. I wasn't a big fan of this sequence, because he blocks Terror here from the knife, and then right after he blocks him, the boxer gets a clean hit on Matt. And I felt that, and I was looking at it logistically speaking, right? If he blocks and he gets hit, the knife would have cut his hand, and that didn't happen. And again, that's not Will's fault. That's my fault. Because again, I didn't edit it properly. I should have caught that in the editing process, and I didn't. At this point, I was attempting to use the philosophy that Arturo, aka Maya Zero, taught me, which is when you give the script up, let the artist let it go and let the artist do it. And this is what I was doing in this point. I was trying to work on letting go and not be so controlling as a writer. So that's what I did for this page here, or not this page, but this whole chapter with Will Robson. So we move on to the next page, and our hero is in dire straits here. He gets another hit by the boxer, and he's about to go for the knockout punch, but he misses. Matt dodges, and again, I didn't like this angle. It doesn't showcase that he dodged the hit. It's not a good angle to begin with. It should maybe I have no idea how he would have done this angle now that I think about it. If you're an artist and you're watching this video, leave a comment and let me know how you would have done it. So we move on. Our hero manages to get a hit in, hits him and elbows him in the neck here, kicks him, but he blocks it, and then he backs up, wondering what the hell is going on, and also from behind grabs him and manhandles him like a bear would to a prey. So he squeezes him in the bear hug, he swings him back and forth, and he's pretty much going to break his ribs until our hero Matt, decides to use his head literally and headbutts his nose, thus breaking it. And so also here is attending to his broken nose. Terror is kind of happy that hey, this guy's pretty tough. He's a challenge. All right, not bad. And our boxer is just ready to fight, and our hero is being backed up into a corner in an alley. And so we move on to the next page, and Terror throws a knife at him, and our hero waits for the knife, catches it. I really like this panel. It came out really cool. And Terror and the boxer were like, oh, they're really surprised. They're shocked that this young kid is on it. Like, he is tough. And so our hero throws the knife back and hits Terror in the shoulder, gets him right in the shoulder. This page here was, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And what I mean by that is I wasn't happy overall with the artist's interpretation of my script. And so I decided, okay, you know what? I'm not working with Maya Zero. I'm working with another artist. So I'm going to get a little bit more, I'm going to take back a little bit control of this project because it's not going the way I envisioned it in my head when I wrote the script. So this 4-panel sequence was cool, but it still didn't quite work. And again, Will, if you look at this here, it's the angle's okay. It's not the greatest, and the detail is not hard. And it's not that great either. But again, I know it's really hard for a lot of artists to draw bird's eye view shots. I wished Will would have told me he didn't like it, or he can't do it, or he doesn't want to do it. And that's another thing I want to bring up. For the artists who are watching this show, if you get a script or a layout, whatever, and they ask you to draw something that you're not comfortable drawing, I'm talking angles, I'm talking camera shots, I'm talking wide panels, short panels, small panels, long panels, wide shots, low angle shots, medium shots, whatever the case. If you're not comfortable drawing it, or if you feel like you're not skillful enough yet, then you, the artist, should tell the writer, hey, I'm not comfortable drawing this. Is it okay if we change it? Or how about this angle instead? Or how about that? That is key, guys. Communication is key to a good comic book collaboration. If there is no communication open, your project will fall apart. Because what tends to happen when there's miscommunication or where there's a lack of communication, you start feeling resentment towards the project. You feel like it's a chore rather than a passion project. So that's why now when I do hire artists to work on my projects, I always let them know, hey, if you're not comfortable drawing a certain angle or whatever the case, please let me know and we'll work around it. I'm okay with compromise. I'm okay with meeting in the middle. And this is what I learned from this experience with Will. We had a lack of communication. He thought one way, I thought another in terms of work relationship. He thought we're having a straight up collaboration, meaning I give him the script and he draws whatever he wants. But it was more like a work for hire situation with me. And that's when the relationship fell apart and he left the project soon after. But I got to give Will Robson credit. He finished the project. He stuck right through it until the very end, and I got to give him credit for that because he could have bailed like the other artists that I worked with who just bailed and didn't give a shit. Will Robson, if he came to me tomorrow and said, "Hey man, let's work on something," guess what? I'm gonna work with him because I know now he's a man of his word, and that's important not just for writer and artist relationships, but also for artist and writer's relationship. You gotta have a open two-way street of communication, and you gotta leave your ego at the door. Let me repeat that again. You got to leave your ego at the door when it comes to producing comics because it is a partnership in a lot of ways. So that's why you always got to meet in the middle. So I feel like these 4 panels here, or this page overall, was the outcome of Will not being comfortable drawing bird's eye view shots, but he still did it anyway because I guess he felt obligated to. I'm not sure. But overall, I thought the page was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it got the job done. So moving on to the next page, 2 against 1. Also, and the boxer. I can't remember the boxer's name. I don't know why I can't remember his name. And they're ready to, pounce on Matt, who's backing up. And again, this pose, I didn't like it. I felt it was too relaxed. I want him to be in a fighting stance, and Will just didn't draw him in a fighting stance for whatever reason. I don't know why. But this sequence here, top-notch sequence right here. One of my favorite sequences that came out. And Will hit it right out of the park. I just wish I would have not written this stuff here. I should have kept it blank. I should have just kept it all action. So that was my mistake on that part, on that end, I should say. And yeah, this was a cool sequence. I really loved it. And they're ready to rush him. And then when we move to the next page, bam, he's able to get his target. And that's when the reader finds out that this character, Matt Guerra, the Ghetto Dragon, is tough as shit. So he knees the boxer in the chin. He hits also in the nose again. So he gets that broken nose. He hits it again, and he blocks his punch. And he gets also again, kicks him in the chest. And he drew him really big too, man. Like he's like almost the size of Thanos. I feel like in these panels. Look how huge he is. He's like a freaking monster. But again, it was the style. It was Will's style, and I kind of liked it. It was very endearing in a lot of ways. But yeah, he kicks him in the chest. He kicks him again, but he misses, and he does another kick, but he catches it. Also catches it and tells him, "You're gonna pay for my nose." And of course, our hero's like, "Sure," and he kicks him in the nose again, and that takes him out of the picture for a while. And so the boxer comes in, and we move on to the next page where Terror is psyching himself up to pull out the knife. Now, I know this took away from the story, but I felt like this was a cool scene to showcase to the reader that these guys are not pushovers. These guys are actual, like, legit tough. And I really like how the sequence came out. The sequence came out freaking brutally delicious, I guess. That's the way I could describe it. And he's just trying to psych himself up to pull the knife out of his shoulder so he could get back in the fight. And so he does it, and he finally pulls it out. And, oh, great shot. Great shot right here. Fantastic work by Will. And he is happy that he finally met someone just as tough as him. And I really like how this sequence came out. Again, sequential smoothness. This is what I like. Sequential smoothness, like fine wine. So moving on to the next page. And again, another sequence, smooth sequence that I prefer in my comic books. The boxer is boxing Matt, but Matt is dodging him. Boom, boom, dodging him again, dodging him again, dodging him again, and then 1, 2, boom, he's done. He is done. I really love this page. This page came out freaking out of this world good. There's a little smudge here that I didn't catch when the colors gave me back the page. I guess he must have forgotten to take that out, and I didn't realize it until after I produced the pages, so there's that. But overall, this page is just freaking off the chart good, I felt. I still feel I'm still proud of this page, and Will again did a wonderful job with the pencils and inks, and Julio Falkenhagen once again with the colors just fantastic. I love how it goes from blue and it slowly gets back to red when Matt is ready for the 1-2 KO punch. So there's that page, and move on to the next one. Once he's out of the picture, Terry comes back, but he grabs him, takes him down. Not Jikundo, Taekwondo, I want to say. I'm not sure. Gets him, and then breaks his elbow. You can't really see it here good with this panel. I kind of wish, again, Will would have chosen a different angle, but I understood why, because this was the important part. It's also right behind him, ready to swing at him, and he gets him. Boom. And gets him again, grabs him, picks him up, and slams him down. Now he's on top of our hero, and now what will our hero do now that he is, you know, held down by a freaking bear of a man? So our hero does what anyone would do. He grabs the broken nose and he pokes his eye out. Look at that. Fantastic panel. Just gruesome. Gruesome all around. And so he knocks him over. Of course, he's lost an eye. He's crying. He's ready to. He's blood. He's seeing blood. He's ready to kill now. He's ready to kill our hero. Picks up a stick from the ground. Charges at him with one eye. Misses him. He's about to swing again. And he blocks him. Breaks his arm. He's still, he's still in the fight, but our hero picks up the stick and knocks him out. Great panel here. Fantastic panel right here. Great colors again. I just wish that Will and I would have, meshed a little better, because I think as time went on, he would have gotten a lot more comfortable with the project, and he may have given me just pages that were probably out of this world. But it is what it is. It didn't happen that way, and so our hero finally can rest easy. He throws the stick. It bounces past all the three men who was able to beat down. Not with ease. It took a lot of them, because look, he's bruised up, he's bleeding, and he's hurting too. Our hero's hurting too. So he's not invincible. He's not Superman. He's still a man, still a young man, susceptible to pain. And then he hears the people from the apartment complex who are watching the fight, and he walks away while everyone is cheering him on. And so there it is, the Ghetto Dragon Chronicles, written by yours truly, Julius Freeman, art by Will Robson, and the colors by Julio Falkenhagen. I really love how this splash page came out. A little homage to Spider-Man, the famous Spider-Man cover where he throws away the Spider-Man costume and he's walking away, vowing to no longer become or be Spider-Man. There's a little homage to that, a little wink wink. Splash page here is still one of my favorites. This chapter, this whole story, is still one of my favorites. It's something that I hope to one day publish. And if the Indiegogo campaign does reach a certain goal, and if you guys want this, not just this chapter, but the other chapters that I've shown you in the other videos, if you guys want that compiled into one book, make it happen for Ghetto Dragon Indiegogo Book 1 No Good Deed. If we're able to reach a certain goal, I don't know how much yet, but if you're able to help me reach that goal, and I'm able to afford to produce these shorts for you into one whole book, then you'll be getting 2 books for the price of 1. I'm being serious, guys. I'm being 100% serious. If you guys can help me reach a certain goal when I do launch it, and I'm hoping that I can launch it this week, hoping, God willing, and you help me reach a certain goal, I will be more than happy to compile all these shorts into one book, and you'll get 2 books. Like I said, 2 books for the price of 1, easily. So there you have it, guys. This is the last chapter for the Ghetto Dragon Chronicles, drawn by Will Robson. I know I mentioned in the last video that I was going to show you a chapter from my friend Jose, but I decided against it because it wasn't part of the overall story. It was a one-off, kind of separate story. My biggest takeaway from this experience was my development of the editing process, my own editing process, because before then, I didn't have anybody guiding me in terms of how to produce comic books. Gaining experience in the indie circuit is the best thing you can do if you are outside the quote unquote industry system. And that's exactly what I've done for the past 10 years, is that I've gained the experience by learning as I went, by understanding that everyone is different. Everyone you work with has a different personality, has a different attitude, has a different perspective, has a different outlook on what comic books should be. And the key factor that I learned in the 10 years doing this is that it's always best to have an open mind and keep your ears open as well. The problem with Will was that he wasn't very communicative with me in terms of what he was looking for until later on. So now, when I do hire artists, I always have like a interview process first. What do you like? What don't you like? What do you like drawing? What don't you like drawing? What kind of style are you looking for? Or what kind of stories are you looking for? That's another key factor, guys, that I want to bring up. A lot of times, you have artists taking in work because it's a paid job. Indie creators like myself, we don't have the luxury like Marvel or DC, where we have endless amounts of money, where we just pay out and the artist is just happy to have work. The only advantage that we have is that we need to find an artist who's excited about the story you've written. That is key, guys. The reason why Will took on the job is because he likes action adventure. He likes martial arts. The reason why Alan Fletcher, who is the artist for the Ghetto Dragon No Good Deed Book 1, the reason why he took the job is because he loves Bruce Lee movies and he loves Kung Fu movies. So it made sense. He was excited about it. And that's why Alan has stayed on the project for 3 years. Yes, believe it or not, we've been working on this Ghetto Dragon, not Book 1, but the whole project for 3 years now. So there's that, guys. Again, if you guys want to have these pages in your hands as one collected comic book, make the Indiegogo campaign happen. And if it does happen, then I'll be more than happy to do it. So don't forget to leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap on the notification bell. And I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully this week I will launch the campaign. If not, then it may be next week. So I'll see you guys then. So party on, be excellent to each other, and peace be with you. See you guys.
Welcome to the pre-launch of the Ghetto Dragon Book 1 No Good Deed, a 60-plus page story about a young man named Matt Guerra, who saves an underage girl from being kidnapped by a heartless, gruesome gang named Los Valientes, who will stop at nothing to protect their street cred. Follow Matt as he pays the consequences of his good deed with his fists, causing Los Valientes to turn their sights on his family. Does our hero back down, or does he stand his ground? Join us in this martial arts adventure that involves action, drama, a little romance, and tragedy. Follow Julius Freeman on Twitter and Facebook for the latest updates. Also, check out his YouTube channel and subscribe, where you can join him in exploring the rich history behind the creation of the Ghetto Dragon. Sign up to the pre-launch today, where you will have first dibs of receiving